Gibbs. Great ball by Pat Matej-Sarr, out to the left-hand side. Son went on the charge, faced up to Devo, went on the outside and tuck it up in the near corner under the goalkeeper. It's 4-1.
Well, how a game's turned on its head like this is quite incredible. Tottenham have had an incredible start of the second half. Son there broke away on the left-hand side. He rocked and rolled to Devo, and in the end he's pulled it onto that trusty left foot of his, an unloaded one that's just crept inside the near post. I think if it's gone through Areola's legs, I believe, kept it hard and low, and the game looks way beyond West Ham at this moment in time.
I think it's Souček, Paqueta and Antonio who are off, but I think unfortunately for West Ham United fans it's a little bit too little, too late. 4-1 the score now, and this is a real problem for Julian Lopetegui, who has seen his team only win twice in the Premier League, and that was against Ipswich, and a very fortunate victory against Palace. They got a point at Fulham they probably didn't deserve as well, and now they're under the cosh again. They've given it away cheaply. Johnson's going through the centre, comes to Son instead, hits the post and goes behind. Inside of the post, rolls along the goal line and goes out the other side. And it's a massive, massive let-up for West Ham United, who should have been 5-1 down.
Well, it's just fell brilliantly for Son to come on and hit it, and he's done exactly that, and it's cannoned off the post and ended up just shooting straight across the goal line and out the other side. Incredible. And West Ham look as though they can concede freely at this moment in time.
4-1. The scoreline, it could have been more. West Ham getting cut open too quickly, and again, we complained about this in the first half, not being direct enough to swift enough with the final ball into the final third. They've done that, and they've scored as a result. And there's another opportunity here at the other end, and West Ham coming forward. It breaks for Kudus. It cleared off the line. Did it hit a hand? The referee is going to consult with his VAR, because as the ball squirmed through the 6-yard box, Kudus hit it goalwards, and it looked as if it might have come off the arm of a doggy. It did, but his arm was by the side of his body.
Yeah, he didn't put his arm out in any way, shape or form. I'll be astounded if this, on current sort of form by penalties, whether this is given or not. West Ham need a lifeline. They need something to go their way, but I'm not sure it'll be this.
Well, I think it's got to be play on, hasn't it? You can't give a penalty for that.
It just goes to show, 4-1 up Tottenham, could have been 5-1. West Ham had an opportunity of getting back into the game.
Well, he should have scored it, actually. Forget whether or not he hit a hand or not. He should have put it in, shouldn't he, Kudus?
Well, from that distance, potentially, yes.
They still don't look 100% secure. Tottenham Hotspur, as the ball comes in towards the near post from the corner. Vicario's got a cap on, by the way. You don't see those very often nowadays in goalkeepers. Ball clipped in by Emerson into the box from the left-hand side. Cut out by Bissouma, whose crucial goal actually was the one that sort of started the avalanche going down the other end. And he's fouled, and it's going to be a free kick. Crescencio Somerville, Alvarez and Soleron, can they make a difference? Let's find out what's going on up and down the country, because there are another 5 Premier League games this afternoon at 3 o'clock. One of them live on Talk Sport 2. Where Fulham take on Aston Villa. Adam Bridge.
And the big team news is regarding Villa. A clutch of returning injured players. Ramsey and Onana come into the starting 11. McGinn and Kamara on the bench. Mings has travelled, but he's not in the matchday squad. So it's 3 changes in total from Villa for the game against Manchester United. Ramsey, Onana and Carlos start. Consa's also back on the bench. As for Fulham, 1 change. Lukic out injured from international duty. Emil Smith-Rowe comes in to start. The game's live on Talk Sport 2 from 3.
Those talking about Erik ten Hag's futures are making up fantasies and fairy tales, but who are the main cast today at Old Trafford, Mickey Gray?
Yeah, 3 changes for Manchester United. Erik ten Hag, it's Mainu and Maguire miss out to the ever-growing list of injuries for Manchester United. Mazraoui also misses out, but he's on the bench. In come De Ligt, Martinez and Casemiro. No changes for Brentford, same 11 that beat Wolves 5-3 before the international break. 3 o'clock here, Old Trafford, Manchester United against Brentford.
Another big chance for Tottenham Hotspur. Kulusevski again coming on his left foot. I mean, who would have thought that he might do that? He's been doing it all afternoon. He's been allowed to do it all afternoon. and his latest effort just goes whizzing past the post away to our right-hand side. Off to St James's Park. This will be an interesting game. Newcastle against Brighton. Steve Harmison.
Alexander Isak is back. He's one of two changes alongside Tino Livramento. Trippier misses out altogether with a hamstring injury. Harvey Barnes drops to the bench. Three changes for Brighton. Ayara, Ferguson and Igor come in. Matoma drops to the bench, but Minte and Webster are not involved at all for the Seagulls. It's Newcastle versus Brighton at 3 p.m.
Crescencio Summerhill runs with the ball at his feet, gets to the edge of the penalty area and then ends up down a dark alley, loses the ball, and Spurs manage to clear. Wycombe 1, Peterborough 1 in League One is the latest score. I'll go through all of them in just a second after we've got the latest team news from St Mary's. Ian Abrahams.
One change for Southampton, Cameron Archer in for the injured Ross Stewart. One change for Leicester, El Khanous in for Jordan Ayew, who drops to the bench. It's Southampton against Leicester here at St Mary's.
And off to Portman Road, Mike Jewell.
Two changes for both teams. Ipswich, as in defence, Johnson and Greaves drop out altogether. In come Burgess and Wolfenden. There's no Garner. Mangala drops to the bench for Everton. In come Guy and Mikalenko. Seamus Coleman, though, comes back to the Everton bench. It's Ipswich-Everton at Portman Road.
All the goals as they go in with Adrian Durham, live on Talk Sport from 2:30 this afternoon. Live commentary of Fulham against Aston Villa is on Talk Sport 2. Remember the phone in at 5:30. Quins Bath 5 o'clock. The Gallagher Premiership is on Talk Sport 2, and tomorrow the Sunday session will take you round the grounds from 1:30. Liverpool taking on Chelsea and Wolves against Manchester City, the two Premier League offerings. It's 4-1 to Spurs here. Here's Kudus trying to address the deficit. And he couldn't quite get there, but Solanke has picked up the rebound and ran Todibo, who's having a bit of a tough afternoon with him, and he's beaten him not once but twice. Can he feed Johnson? He can. Right side of the area, steers it towards the far post, saved by Areola, and Solanke can't get there on the follow-up. Another big chance for Tottenham.
It certainly was. So when the ball was ended up playing out, Todibo in all kinds of trouble there with Solanke. Solanke too clever, too strong for him. And when he rolled it out to Johnson, ended up being a very, very good save. Cute down to his right-hand side from Areola. But they're certainly shipping efforts at their goal at the moment, West Ham. And they've got to be very, very careful that 5 doesn't become 6.
It's got to be up to 5 first of all, though. They're still only on 4. It could have been 5.
I'm suggesting that if they're not careful, it could go 5 or 6.
Okay, or maybe 7 or 8. But yeah, we'll get
well picked up.
Just in case. Clarity is important at this stage.
Okay. Or even 4 could become 3. Hopefully for West Ham.
Timo Werner's coming on. Turbo Timo is coming on. And he's going to also be joined by Mavropanos is coming on too. Would that be a sort of... I wonder whether or not it would be a sort of like a reaction to Todibo's struggles.
I think it will be. Yeah.
Carlos Soler game booked by the referee whilst we were talking there. Let me update you on some of the other scorelines up and down the country. Tottenham leading by 4-1 live on Talk Sport with Sky Sports. Don't forget, you can stream the biggest Premier League games available with no contract on now, like Bournemouth versus Arsenal live today. Search Now Sports. Here is a doggy again on the left for Tottenham as they look to go in search of a 5th goal. Tackled by Wan-Bissaka, who not only wins that tackle, then goes right the way through Pape Matsar and manages to push it on into Kudus' path, and then goes on a run again, Wan-Bissaka. He's got Bowen inside him, but his pass wasn't good enough. Cut out by Romero, and Tottenham have it back again. Cardiff 3, Plymouth 0 in the Championship. Cardiff, who still don't have a boss. Wayne Rooney had won 3 of the last 6, but they're 3-0 down and down to 10 players at the Cardiff City Stadium. Luton lead by 2-0 against Watford, having taken just 1 point from the last 3 games. They've really struggled in the Championship after their relegation. They've got the worst home defence in the league, but they haven't conceded today. Oxford behind at home to West Brom. And Oxford under the cosh last week, a lot of the game against Portsmouth, but managed to dig out a late draw. Maybe there might be a late goal in that one. And Preston 0, Coventry 0 in the Championship. Reading playing well under Ruben Selles, lead by 3-1 against Crawley. Wycombe 2-1 up against Peterborough. Peterborough, who have won just 1 of their last 5 league games. A team with the best attack in League One before this weekend, Peterborough, and the worst defence. A conundrum that Darren Ferguson needs to solve. League 2, Accrington lead Barrow by a 1-0, and in the Women's Super League, Brighton 1, Manchester United 1 is the latest scoreline there. And Nikita Paris equalising after Grace Clinton had scored an own goal in the first 10 minutes. You're up to date on TalkSport on Game Day exclusive, live from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium with 20 minutes to go, where it's Tottenham 4, West Ham 1. Bright sunshine and a different outlook now, because off comes Son after doing his job for 70 minutes on the score sheet and playing a big part in the crucial goal. And he's replaced by Timo Werner with 20 to play. Rodriguez is off and Mavropanos is on, so I will suggest that means they're going to a back 3 now, West Ham.
Yeah, it certainly looks that way. We thought Todibo might be the one coming off. He's decided to change shape. And, yeah. Exactly what's happened. Somerville looks as though he's playing just behind Bowen in the centre of the pitch.
1 minute for Solanke's performance, though. We'll ask you that in just a second as Tottenham break down the right-hand side, collected by Kulusevski, gets into the area. Lovely little reverse pass into Pedro Porro, rushed that, crushed it, well past the post and out for a goal kick away to our right-hand side. Yeah, what have you made of Solanke's contribution to the game today?
Couple of things. I would turn around and say I've not seen him having too many efforts at goal, which would concern me slightly. The other side of that, I think he's worked hard for the team and he's offered a physical presence up there as well. So a bittersweet one. He's played his part in the team ethic, which I quite like, but I'd like to see him having more sort of efforts in and around the goal.
And Tottenham lead by 4-1 against West Ham. The latest odds from Betfair, the official betting partner of TalkSport's Premier League coverage. Right now you can get Dominic Solanke to score next at 15-2. You can back Brennan Johnson at 12-1. That's all thanks to Betfair. Here is Timo Werner, left side, trying to find Basuma. It didn't quite feed him properly, and then Kudus has got there ahead of Van de Ven and galloped into opposition territory. He needs support. Somerville provides it. A little nudge on towards Bowen, edge of the D. He sets it back into the path of Edson Alvarez. They're going backwards rather than forwards here, West Ham, after a promising attack, and it seems to have petered out rather quickly with a bit of miscontrol from Kudus. He's got it back again, goes round Werner, sends the ball into the near post. He goes past Alvarez and then he's shoveled away by Vicario down by his far post. Goes back to the edge of the box, and then it comes to Johnson, who tries to drag Tottenham clear. And well, yeah, I thought he was going to get a free kick there. Andy Madley said no.
No, I think he was right as well, personally.
Alvarez back to Kilman, back down the left-hand side. Collected now by Emerson, whose delivery is the deep one. It's in towards Alvarez, who headed it but didn't get any proper purchase on it, and it goes behind. And Vicario, just a little bit of a warning from him. He's seen his team slacken off before and he doesn't want them to do it again.
Yeah, Mohamed Kudus just a little bit guilty of just not finding the right pass, is he? You know, he gets you off your seat a little bit and then just lacking in a real clinical pass on occasion.
Well, Spurs and West Ham, rivals, not maybe as hateful as the Spurs-Arsenal rivalry. And depending on who you're talking to, West Ham, whether they hate Chelsea or Tottenham more is, I think, dependent on generation. But for West Ham, Tottenham historically have been a big rival, and losing 4-1 away from home at this ground is not going to go down particularly well with those travelling support over on the far side. Here is Somerville being chased by Romero. He plays it against the Argentine. It's out for a corner on this near touchline.
Well, I can't remember a game, Sam, when we've had so many corners. You know, it's been quite incredible. Even West Ham's tally is mounting now.
Yes, it certainly is. And I think I'm right in saying that despite the fact that we've had 5 goals, I don't think any of them have come from a corner. Here is the ball in towards the near post. It's flicked away, and Kulusevski is on the chase, but Somerville's going to get there first before it reaches the edge of the centre circle, and West Ham have retrieved it once again. We've had a grand total of 18 corners in the game.
Yeah, and as you say, no one's looked like anywhere near scoring a goal from a corner. I think West Ham have missed a trick, really. They should be putting it and crowding out Vicario. They've not really done that.
Wan-Bissaka's made a good run down the right, fed by Kudus. He takes it into the sunshine opposite us. In it goes to Kudus once again. Little turn by him, and then he flicks it out left-footed into the path of Emerson, who's joined the attack on the near side. Back into Edson Alvarez, who skips past Basuma, then tries to feed it into the path. Been pretty good at getting on the score sheet, but scoring enough goals has been an issue for them. Bowen scored his first goal in 6 games against Ipswich. Antonio's only scored once. They've got full £7.5 million, 31 years of age, injury record, which has meant that he's actually missed 1,024 days in his career with injury, which equates to around about 2.8 years. So a little bit concerning for Lopetegui.
Yeah, as I say, they want the opportunities. New players especially, you want to have an impact at your new club, and he certainly hasn't got going as yet.
Spurs injury issues have cleared up. Son playing 70 minutes today. Richarlison back on the bench today. A bit concerned about what happened to Maddison at half-time. They won't be concerned with Solanke here, who slalomed his way past 3 players, played it out to the right-hand side. Johnson couldn't get past Kilman. Good slide tackle by the former Wolves man to push it out on this near touchline. Collected by Kulusevski, though, as Tottenham press their advantage. Good cross towards the far post. Timo Werner with a header across the face of goal. And they needed more sort of purpose, and should have gone actually more forcefully for goal rather than hitting it through the 6-yard box, and it's cleared away. Up as far as Bowen, who chests it down, takes it round Romero. Romero tries to tug at him, doesn't pull him back, allows the ball to run into Kudus' path. Kudus wants to give it back to Bowen. Bowen retrieves, turns, fires it into Wan-Bissaka, back to Bowen again. And then Kudus tries to attack Udogie down the right side as West Ham look at it. Wan-Bissaka goes behind him, and he just needed to flick it into his path. He didn't, he held on to it, and Tottenham have pinched it, and they're encouraged to go forward again. And they won't just think, we've 4-1 up, so that's it, that's enough, because apparently they don't look at the scoreboard.
Well, put it this way, they're getting more and more opportunities on West Ham's goal as the game's going on, that is for sure. And Werner was the latest, who had a free header at the far post. Couldn't direct it on target.
What was his problem there? Was it that he didn't believe that he was going to score? Should he have been more sort of forceful in directing it on target rather than just sort of trying to get something on it?
I just think the angle was a little bit tight, but you've got to make your mind up then whether a headed pass is on to a teammate in front of goal, or I'm going to take a touch here and unload one with my feet. He just said, I'll keep the ball alive. And then the chance is gone because you're just heading it across the face of goal.
And you wonder whether or not that's to do with confidence, or the fact
Very
that
much
actually
so.
It's down to the fact that he doesn't see himself as a killer. And the best finishers just dive straight in there and make that goes on target, right?
Well, the best finishers make the best calls and judgment calls very quickly. And as I say, at the far post there, I don't know, who do we think in the league is a fantastic finisher? Probably Mo Salah. Mo Salah would have probably took a touch with his chest and unloaded a half volley potentially.
Cardiff have gone 4-0 up against Plymouth. They're down to 10 players. And we are into the final 12 minutes here on Talk Sport. Tottenham 4, West Ham 1. On Talk Sport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Enterprise has 450 branches for all the vehicle your business needs. Tottenham Hotspur, they are generous of spirit, aren't they? I mean, just when you think that the game is beyond West Ham, Vicario will do his level best to present a chance to someone.
He does look I wouldn't say a bag of nerves, but he's not got a picture in his mind when he receives it, and then he took an eternity, and you can't do that, not when you've got the likes of Bowen bearing down on you.
Bowen almost nabbed it. In the end, it went out over on the far side, and Tottenham were able to clear. I mean, he's all hands up in the air and bellowing at his teammates, but when the ball comes back to you, you've got to know what you're going to do next.
Well, put it this way, before the ball arrives at your feet, you've got to know exactly what the plan is in your mind. If you haven't got that and you look up at that stage, the Premier League's too quick and people don't allow you any time. And just looking at the distribution of Alphonse Areola, just for any youngsters looking, when he's playing the ball out, he's giving too much height to the ball. He's got to take probably another 10 metres of height off the ball because that's just giving the opposition time to reassess and get there for a competed header when it arrives.
Because by the time it's gone up, collected the snow and come back down again, they've had the opportunity to readjust.
Exactly, and he's done that a little bit continually during the game. He's just got to take some height off it. Maybe a different golf club, if you like.
They're going to choose another club from their bag. Tottenham Hotspur. Richarlison about to come on for the final 10 minutes here, after pretty much most of the season with injury, which has been a problem for him.
I've got to say, the West Ham fans look as though they've given up on this game and on their way back to Seven Sisters.
Yes, well, it is a long walk. They've started to go early because I think they know the game is up. It is about a mile, isn't it, the walk from Seven Sisters, and you'll be pleased to know that all the buses are on diversions today, so they chucked me off at Bruce Grove and I had to walk from there. On comes Richarlison, replacing Solanke for the final 10 minutes of the game. Tottenham have got a big week coming up. They need to protect their players, and this is the right way of doing it.
Yeah, Solanke's done well today. He's led the line. He's getting a lot of appreciation and love from in and around the ground, and rightly so. I don't think he's had a lot of goal-scoring opportunities, but he's worked tirelessly for the team.
On comes Richarlison. His hair dyed platinum. And off comes Bissouma, and on comes Bentancur. Bissouma with that second goal, the real important goal in the game, I think. Bentancur, who performed well at Old Trafford and finished third in the Copa America, was away with Uruguay last week, comes into midfield for the final 9 minutes now of the game. And it's 4-1 to Tottenham Hotspur. We'll take you around our grounds from 2:30 this afternoon, and don't forget the Talk Sport YouTube channel, loads of fresh new content on there every day. Boxing on Talk Boxing, the NFL show each week, and of course all the football content that you need to keep you going. That's Talk Sport on YouTube. And remember, on Monday, Ali McCoy's OBE and Jeff Stelling return on the Superstar Breakfast from Talk Sport. That's 6 o'clock, reviewing all the weekend's action. West Ham playing out from the back, looked a bit dicey, but they just about got away with it. Wan-Bissaka has worked it wide to the opposite fullback, Emerson, on halfway, and he's moved up the pitch before playing it back to Kilman. Kilman centrally to Todibo. He in turn just thrusts it into the path of Mavropanos, who had a good international break, beat both England and Ireland in that international break. I thought played very well in the England game.
He certainly did. I'll tell you what he done. He defended a lot of balls into the box and got first contact many times. Played very well.
Being shackled by Van der Ven, and then Kudus and Van der Ven, they start fighting, there's pushing, there's all sorts going on in the middle, and then all of the players come into a tight knot just outside the centre circle. Richarlison is down, and so is Van der Ven. Van der Ven saying that Kudus should be sent off. Was there an arm thrown there? Brennan Johnson getting involved. Romero acting as peacemaker. And all of a sudden it just quietens down, and the referee needs to take a little bit of stock here before making a decision. And there's a little bit of needle, because I think the Tottenham fans obviously were encouraging things, and the West Ham fans so furious that the West Ham players had started to feel that frustration. And now Andy Mandy's got a big decision to make, because Kudus unnecessarily kicked the ball at Van der Ven a couple of times, and Van der Ven took exception to that, got back to his feet, said calm yourself down, pushed him into the chest, then Kudus pushed him in the face, and then there was another collision where it was a bit like sort of like dominoes. One fell into another. Richarlison went down, the referee almost went down, and it became a little bit comical. The yellow card's coming out, but I think it's just going to be for Kudus, isn't it?
No, I think he'll book both. That's what you do in situations like this. That's how they're guided. He'll book both. He'll settle things down. He'll book both. And I think he's refereed very sensibly today. He could have comfortably sent Van der Ven, well, Kudus off for a slap or a push in the face, if you like. But he's not done that, and I don't think the game probably deserves that. You know, for a dog game, it's not been too aggressive, I don't think.
No, but the biggest frustration is that Christian Romero didn't get involved in it and earn himself a booking.
That's where your frustration lies, is it?
Come on. And I think now Kulusevski's been booked for arguing, but, you know, it's one of those days where you were wishing that it was Romero.
I'll tell you what I'm quite like seeing now. I'm looking at the replay and I'm seeing Brennan Johnson running around trying to get at players, you know, and I'm thinking, Brennan, please, that's not your game. Honestly.
So you'd been right in there, wouldn't you?
I wouldn't know. I'd just stand to the table. We'll wait till the game gets started.
Going to check to see if there was violent conduct.
Well,
and a red card.
If there is,
else.
it'll be Kudus' slap on the face. Apart from that, I'm not seeing anything else.
Jared Bowen. Yes, there is.
It's another slap.
It's another push in the face by Kudus after the initial event, which Andy Maddy has dealt with. Kudus then reaches out.
You're right. It could go now.
It's almost like a fist actually in the face of Pat Mate Sarr. So the initial incident was dealt with. He's now going to have a look at the monitor. I think Kudus is going to be sent off here.
Yeah, you're right. As I say, he's got away with the first slap stroke push on Van der Ven's face, which was stupid in its first. When you bear in mind that he was the one who's initiated all this nonsense, and then after that he's ended up pushing or slapping an opponent in the face.
Well, they're showing him the initial incident, which is when he slaps Van der Ven. Now we know that he's dealt with that, and he's pushed him in the face, and that's a yellow card. Now the second incident, I think, is more of a red card than that one, which is when two players are on the ground, two Tottenham players are on the ground, and Kudus is being restrained. He then reaches out with his left hand right in the face of Pat Mate Sarr. And it's not a punch, but it's not a gentle slap either. It's a bit of a thrusting of his arm into the face. It's going to be a red card.
Yeah, he's going.
No yellow card for Kudus. A straight red for the West Ham number 14. And West Ham's day at Tottenham gets even worse. Down to 10 players. He'll be suspended in future weeks. He's having a very difficult afternoon in the London derby. 4-1 and a player light as well. It's all over for Mohamed Kudus, and it's been over for a long time for Tottenham.
Yeah, to be honest, we only saw the first one on Van der Sar, and I thought the referee, I commended the referee for his actions there. I've seen him go for certain things like that, but when you see the second one as well, it was an open palm, I think, on